Welcome to the American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th Anniversary podcast series. In this commemorative series, past presidents and other leaders of the American Nephrology Nurses Association will provide a rich history of the association itself and of nephrology nursing as a specialty nursing profession. The American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th Anniversary podcast series is brought to you by the Nephrology Nursing Journal, the official journal of the American Nephrology Nurses Association. We are honored to present this episode, and we hope you enjoy these invaluable and enlightening nephrology nursing recollections.
Hi, my name is Beth Ulrich. I'm the editor of the Nephrology Nursing Journal and a past president of ANNA. Today it is my honor to interview Dr. Tamara Kear, who is serving as president of ANNA from 2019 to 2020. Tammy, I want to thank you for talking with us today about ANNA and nephrology nursing.
Thank you, Beth. I'm happy to be here and happy to share my insights.
Let's start at the beginning of your nephrology nursing career. When and how did you become a nephrology nurse? What was your first nephrology nursing job?
So my first position was as a medical surgical nurse on a post-operative telemetry floor. This was in the late 1980s, and telemetry floors were not telemetry floors as we know today. They were not almost every floor in an acute care setting. It also happened to be the floor within our small community hospital where the dialysis patients would be admitted. And I worked night shift. I would see in the morning, around 6 o'clock in the morning, a nurse would come in. She would go to a closet. She would get a machine, and she would wheel it into the patient's room. I spent time talking to her, and we have remained colleagues throughout the years. I've not seen her for probably 2 years at this point, but we've remained colleagues over the last 30 years. I asked her a lot of questions. I also always had a great interest in fluid balance, electrolytes, and this seemed like an area of nursing that would be most interesting to me. So at that time, we would look for jobs in the newspaper, and there was a job in the newspaper for our local dialysis facility. They were looking to hire a nurse. I went for the interview. I remember taking a tour of the dialysis unit, and it happened to be turnover time, and it was very busy. It was very chaotic. I observed the skills that the nurses were demonstrating and the knowledge and independence that they seemed to exhibit, and I thought this is an area of nursing for me. So I was hired in that hemodialysis unit. I was very quickly trained to become the charge nurse. I was soon educated on the skills of peritoneal dialysis. We happened to be located in the basement of a nursing home, so we served nursing home patients from the nursing home within our dialysis setting, and we also had patients on peritoneal dialysis at night. I then soon became the nighttime on-call nurse if the nursing home had questions because I lived about 4 blocks from the dialysis unit in a small apartment. I then was soon trained on the acute side and really had experienced the various roles at that time of a nephrology nurse in the acute, the outpatient hemodialysis settings, as well as with peritoneal dialysis. I knew after those 2 years it was something that I was interested in continuing. And so I enrolled in a master's program that focused on chronic illness, and all of my time in that program was spent focusing on caring for patients with chronic kidney disease. The end of that master's clinical nurse specialist track resulted in an internship with our local organ procurement organization in Philadelphia, and I had the opportunity to travel with them around our tri-state region, looking at the initiatives as well as talking to families and also traveling to Tennessee to harvest an organ and follow that patient all the way through to discharge. So that was my early and beginning years of nephrology nursing.
So what are you doing now when you're not doing work for ANNA?
My role now is as an associate professor of nursing at Villanova University. I've been involved in academia as a professor for the last 17 years. In addition to that, at Villanova, I hold a joint appointment as the nursing research consultant for a 5-hospital health system in the suburbs of Philadelphia. Until recently, I continued to practice on a per diem basis in the acute care services on the hemodialysis side. So it is a full and rewarding career that allows me to teach, it allows me to practice, and it allows me to conduct my research.
So let's talk about your role as president of ANNA. What do you see as the biggest challenge currently facing nephrology or nephrology nursing in ANNA?
I think our current challenge right now focuses on retaining and recruiting nurses. And we are not alone in this as nephrology nursing. We are seeing that that is a challenge that many specialties of nursing are currently facing. The retention of nurses who are hired, as well as recruiting new nurses into specialties. And specialty organizations certainly are having the recruitment challenges that we are experiencing. And if we can't recruit and retain nurses into nephrology nursing, they don't have the opportunity to see the benefits of being a member of a professional association such as the American Nephrology Nurses Association. So we need to really be the voices for our area of practice, our area of specialty, our area of research, and let others know just exactly what it is that we do as nephrology nurses. And we really are leaders in areas that our colleagues are trying to develop their leadership skills in. One of those areas is interprofessional collaboration. We do an excellent job and always have since the inception of nephrology nursing in collaborating with our peers to provide that holistic care. We continue to excel in that area, and we need to showcase that that is an area of expertise that we have developed over the years.
So what do you see as the future of ANNA and nephrology nursing? What's the top priorities for the coming year?
So as the incoming president, my top priorities are to showcase exactly what it is that we do as nephrology nursing. Another area that we excel in that I didn't mention with the prior question is that we practice in a number of settings. And again, we're now seeing that the movement of care, and we have been seeing for the last many years, the movement of care is away from the acute care setting into the community, into the schools, into our places of employment, into a variety of settings outside of the hospital. We have always practiced in those settings as nephrology nurses. We practice in the home. We practice in the hospital. We practice in the office and clinic settings. We practice right where our patients live. And so with that being said, we need to showcase just exactly what it is that we do, and that as a nephrology nurse, we can practice for the entire career in a variety of settings and never become bored and continue to be educated and continuing to be enlightened and challenged by the role in which we serve. So with that being said, ANNA has taken on a couple of initiatives. One of the initiatives is the creation of a video called Career of a Lifetime. And in fact, I'll be leaving on Monday morning to go to Utah for the filming of this video. And we will be videoing, showcasing nurses practicing in a variety of settings as nephrology nurses. So I think the challenges, but really there are opportunities for ANNA in the coming years, is to really be the one, we are the ones as nephrology nurses who know our specialty the best, to get out there and say, this is what we do, this is how we do it. And sometimes there's no better way to hear exactly what it is and show what we're doing than through the eyes of the patient. And so we are also in this video going to be showing through the eyes and the voice of the patient just exactly what it is that nephrology nurses do. And my hope is in doing so that we will not only retain but recruit future nephrology nurses to care for the patient population with chronic kidney disease.
That sounds exciting. I can't wait to see the video. You started the Exploring the Evidence department for the Nephrology Nursing Journal several years ago. Why do you think evidence is so important to our practice?
Evidence is so important to our practice because it really is that solid foundation that guides our practice. And when we think about evidence, and perhaps this is me putting my teacher hat on, many times we think about the research evidence, but we also have a strong body of non-research evidence through our experts, and experts in the field of nephrology, nephrology nursing, and in that I put at the very top our patients. Our patients are the ones who are living day in and day out with kidney disease of various stages. And so the evidence really has to be that foundation on which we build our practice and on which we practice. And it's been interesting to me in the Exploring the Evidence department, as those manuscripts come in and we put them in each journal, that there are opportunities for nurses who wish to write to pick a topic and investigate that topic, because we do have voids in the evidence that exists in nephrology nursing. But also, contrary to that, we also have a solid evidence base on which we should be speaking and basing our practice. So it's really been an honor for me to be involved with Exploring the Evidence. I recall when a group of us on the research committee pitched this idea, and I'm like, ooh, is it going to go? Is it going to fly? And here we are, my goodness, I guess we're 8 years later, 7 or 8 years later, and we continue in almost every journal to publish the evidence. And it's also exciting as well when we have a new writer who puts their evidence out there and they see their name in print as well. And so it's truly been a pleasure to be involved in this and to continue the effort moving forward.
So before we end our interview, what else would you like to share with our listeners?
I'd like to share with the listeners that ANNA, over the years, I've been a member for nearly 30 years. I was a young nephrology nurse, and I didn't even think about joining the association because it was something that I was going to do, and in fact, it's what I did. I think I would like to share with the members that not only does nephrology nursing provide a number of practice settings and practice opportunities, but that also ANNA has really been that link to link me to research opportunities, research grant and scholarship opportunities, networking opportunities. And so personally and professionally, I have been able to advance my career, and I've been able to advance my level of not only practice, but the information that I hold and know because of ANNA. It's provided me opportunities as well to share some of my research and evidence with the other members, but most importantly, to connect with nurses who practice in a specialty that many of us hold dear, and again, to show that to future nurses. So the opportunities in nephrology nursing and for individuals who are members of our association are truly endless. And I think as we move into the next 50 years of ANNA is going to look the same in many ways, but it's also going to change in many ways. And we need to be the ones who are the thinkers that will help move our association forward and have that vision as to what our association and nephrology nursing can look like in the coming decades.
Tammy, I want to thank you for your service and leadership as president of ANNA and allowing us to interview you today. We very much appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Beth.
The American Nephrology Nurses Association's 50th anniversary podcast series is brought to you by the Nephrology Nursing Journal, the official journal of the American Nephrology Nurses Association. This series is owned and produced by the American Nephrology Nurses Association. All rights reserved. No portion of this podcast may be used without written permission. For archived episodes of this podcast and to learn more about the American Nephrology Nurses Association, visit the association's website at annanurse.org. You can also subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, our hosting site Spreaker, and other various podcast delivery services.